Welcome to Birds Prey Sports, where we cover Orioles and Ravens news weekly. I'm your host, Jared. And in this video, I'll kind of be, giving my thoughts and my opinions about, or giving my breakout candidates for this training camp, which starts, I believe, Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm sorry, that's tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. Um, so that and the preseason as well. Obviously players in the preseason, the backup players, third, fourth, fifth plus stringers are going to get, more of the snaps just because, guys like Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Bateman, you know, Hamilton, and whoever, they're going to get, you know, they're not going to get any playing time in the preseason. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I think it's more of a good thing just because, we've lost guys in the preseason before, like J.K. Dobbins. I mean, who everyone remembers that horrific injury he had down in Washington when we played there almost 4 years ago. So being able to keep your starters, your known starters healthy and let the rookies and undrafted free agents and other guys fight it out for who's going to make the roster. And like I said, I'll maybe do a roster prediction of who maybe me and TJ I should say, as he'll be back by the time the training camp's almost over and the preseason as well. We'll kind of give maybe our prediction of how what we feel that the 53 man roster will look like by opening day, opening night, whatever you want to call it. So, but in this video, I'll just be going over my breakout candidates, people that I'm or players that I'm excited for the most this upcoming training camp and preseason, and I'll just get right into it. Number three is going to be wide receiver Devontae Walker. He only had one reception last year for 21 yards, and it was a touchdown though, so it's a hell of a first catch for it being a touchdown. Believe that was the fourth touchdown of the day from Lamar versus the Giants. So I think he only had two more targets after that. I want to remember in particular was versus the Texans. He dropped a ball from I believe Josh Johnson. We were already blowing the Texans out, but that is a player in particular that I'm really excited for. Known for his straight line speed. The deep ball is definitely going to be in his favor. He might be a game changer in that way. He might not. He's probably not going to get 1,000 receiving yards this year, but if we can get him a deep ball like once or twice a game, I think that could be huge for our offense. Someone who's going to stretch the field, and who knows, maybe it's even somebody who's going to be a distraction. Pull the safety away so that maybe the middle of the field can open up, or the sidelines or whatever they're trying to get a play designed for. Because I believe when they were doing OTAs or when they were whatever they were doing, um, he ranked top 10 and fastest guy on the team. At least straight line speed. So that's going to be exciting to see. If he can stretch the field for us. Be a guy who can do that or be a distraction for us. And he's going to probably get a lot of playing time this preseason, as guys like Zay Flowers, Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins probably won't get any playing time this preseason. So guys like Tylan Wallace, Devontae Walker, and company are probably going to get plenty of reps. And in my opinion, I'm excited to see. Because he didn't really show a lot of flashes last season. But heard a lot of great things on special teams. And honestly, if you're not an automatic starter in this team, when you come in, the special teams is the easiest way to win over John Harbaugh's heart, with his team. So being able to do that, he's a baller on special teams. He blocks his ass off, and I'm excited to see what the potential he has this training camp. I want to hear great things. I've heard great things already about him with OTAs, with him on Lamar or whatever. I want to hear more great things during this training camp, and I want to see great things during the preseason. So that's a player, in my opinion, that I want to look out for in this preseason because he could be a very key player. Not like key in the way he's going to win us a Super Bowl, but he could be one of those guys where it's like he might slip through every once in a while and get us a big play or get us a touchdown. Number two, a fourth round draft pick, believe out of I believe it was out of Cal, if I'm not mistaken. And that's Teddy Buchanan. I know a lot of guys probably haven't heard, or a lot of people haven't heard about him per se, as he is a fourth round pick, but heard a lot, and I mean this too. I've heard a lot of great things coming out of OTAs and rookie camp of how fast he was, of how physical he was, and honestly, he could probably take game reps right behind Roquan Smith, and that's a big ask. I mean, especially if a fourth round rookie. I believe he played at UC Davis, transferred to Cal, if I'm not mistaken, but he did get first team all defensive ACC or whatever that accolade was. I guess that's the equivalent to like a first team All Pro, or first team All, whatever you want to call it. But that's exciting. I mean, obviously, this is going to be his future, current future with the Ravens is going to be up in the air just because of Trenton Simpson. I thought, Trenton Simpson had a great preseason last year. I heard a lot of great things about him in training camp last year, but it just didn't translate to game, speed and game play when it came to the regular season. I expected great things, but it just felt like he was a little bit more lost out there than I would have hoped. And honestly, if Teddy can step up and be that guy, he might just take Trenton's spot. Because we don't have a lot of depth, I believe, at that linebacker position, just because we lost guys like Malik Harrison and there was another guy like I forgot last year that kind of played. Malik Harrison was one of them, but I forgot he signed somewhere else. I know Malik signed with the Steelers, but there was somebody else that I can't pinpoint right now on the top of my brain. But it's going to be important for Trenton Simpson and Teddy Buchanan possibly to coexist as well behind Roquan Smith, because Roquan obviously is going to be the number one on the depth chart when it comes to linebackers. So if Teddy can really, I'm really going to be locked in on him in particular as well in the defense, because he's obviously going to get playing time. So I want to hear great things out of training camp. I want to hear great things I want to see great things out of the preseason, because I'm not going to be able to watch anything training camp wise, but I want to see great things in the preseason as well. And, that's where it all starts. So, like I said, I heard a lot of great things, and I heard, I think his RAS score was 9.77. If I'm going to make sure I check, which is like top 10 in linebackers. Let me see. He elite range and coverage. Yeah, 9.77 was good for top 10 among LB's linebackers in this class. So I think that could be a gem in the rough, or whatever that saying is. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. That could be a player that we need to look out for, and somebody who could maybe get the keys day one. Maybe he won't get a day one, but someone who eventually could get behind the driver's seat, or at least a co-pilot along with Roquan Smith, because I think that's the one thing Roquan lacked last year, was a running mate, because I mean he had Patrick Queen his whole Ravens career, which was only 3 seasons up at this point, but he had PQ by his side. It was PQ and RS, the alphabetical brothers or whatever they called him. So not having him, I think, impacted our defense a lot. Trenton obviously just wasn't an adequate replacement at the time. Maybe Trenton can make the step up, but if not, I kind of want to look for Teddy Buchanan in that light. But my top player for a breakout candidate wise, when it comes to this is mainly going to be training camp. I don't know how much he's going to play in the preseason. This is actually my biggest, possible breakout candidate this year, and that's going to be the nose tackle or defensive tackle Travis Jones. And that's somebody who, again, a lot of people might not know exactly who he is. He only put up, I think he got a sack last year. He had 40 tackles. He's going to be a run stuffer. But that is somebody that's going to be intriguing to me, because, I heard that he worked a lot on his pass rush moves this offseason. So maybe just possibly he can, you know, rush the pass a little bit more. It'd be nice to have a running mate along with, Nnamdi Madubuike in the interior, really create that pressure for quarterbacks, make them uncomfortable, because we all know that Kyle Van Noy, Owe, Mike Green, and company are really going to be the guys on the outside who are going to be the guys that bring in the pressure interior wise. So if Travis Jones can be a great run stuffer, and he's going to have to step up, with the retirement of Michael Pierce. Michael Pierce's, retirement could prove to be fatal in the running game if, we don't if Travis Jones doesn't make this step up, in my opinion, because he's probably going to get Michael Pierce's reps. He's obviously not going to get the interception like how Michael Pierce did, but you know, I'm really excited to see what Travis Jones can do, just because I heard a lot of great things about him last year up until he got his ankle injury. I believe that was like week 4, week 5, I forgot. But he got an ankle injury that really hindered his play the rest of the season, and that kind of showed. And it's just something that just kind of, those lower body injuries, the ones that you have to walk all the time. It's not like it's your arm. I mean, you have to move your arm a lot, but you have to walk on your legs all the time. So it's gonna not, you know, heal properly until you get a chance to rest it, which he just didn't. We played 17 weeks, 18 weeks plus the two in so we played like 20 weeks. So he probably didn't get a chance to rest it. So with the offseason, you probably got a chance to rest it, recover. I'm excited to see what he's going to be this year because I mean this is a contract year for him, I believe. He was a later round pick. I think he was a third or fourth round pick. So this could be his pop off year. He might. So I really, that is a breakout candidate in my opinion for this season, not really for preseason, for training camp maybe, but mainly for the actual season. So I'm really excited to see what Travis Jones can bring to the table if he can stay healthy, and progress forward. I think a lot of people thought he got gypped when it came to where he got drafted just because of the college he went to, but I really have big expectations for Travis Jones. I know TJ isn't as high on Travis Jones as I am, but I really expect Travis Jones to be a breakout candidate, in my opinion. So that'll be all in this video. I just obviously give my in-depth explanation of why I feel like those three players in particular can be breakout candidates. So give me your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any different breakout candidates? I know we got plenty of players that are probably underrated on this team that I just forgot. So give me your breakout players down below, and give me your three, give me your two, give me your just one, whatever. Give me as many as you want. Give me 10 if you want to. So just make sure obviously make sure that maybe you can get an in-depth explanation as well, like how I did, of why you feel that certain player can have a breakout season, like how I just explained here. So, anyways, that'll be all in this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check out all of our social medias. Those will be linked in the description below. Don't forget to check out our second channel, Casual Cinema. I will be seeing Fantastic Four this week with my mom, so that'll be exciting. Heard a lot of great things about that movie. So me and TJ, when he gets back, we'll review that movie, post that, hopefully by the beginning of August. And so make sure you're on the lookout for that. So, anyways, like I said, that'll be my or breakdown or whatever you want to call it, of my three breakout candidates, and we're sports and we're out.